The evening my marriage completely fell apart didn't start with a suspicious message on her phone. It started with a gut punch, that sudden impossible-to-shake warning that something was seriously wrong. I was in our kitchen, warming up some leftover spaghetti after another exhausting day fixing cars at the garage, when it hit me again, that heavy quiet. Not the cozy, comfortable silence, but the cold, loaded kind that settles into a house when love has packed its bags and left without saying goodbye. The kind that makes the rooms feel bigger and emptier, even with the thermostat cranked up. For months, Sarah had been drifting through our home like a guest who forgot she actually lived here. Fewer smiles, shorter conversations, her phone always face down or tucked away the second it lit up. Whenever it buzzed, she'd tilt the screen so I couldn't catch even a glimpse, like she was protecting state secrets instead of casual chats. I'd asked her once, as gently as I could, "Hey babe, are we okay?" She pecked my cheek super fast and answered, "Just wiped out, Jake. Work's killing me lately." But she didn't sound tired. She sounded far away, and distance like that always has a source. That particular night I spotted her favorite perfume, the one I loved on her, sprayed all over a jacket she barely ever touched anymore. A jacket she definitely hadn't worn to the office in forever. I picked it up, breathed it in, and my stomach twisted into knots. Something wasn't right. Something was going on. Something she was working hard to keep hidden from me. I tried to shake it off, scrubbed the counters, wiped down the stove, scrolled through random recipe videos I'd never actually cook, but my brain kept looping the same terrifying thought. She's not where she claims to be anymore. Then the doorbell cut through the quiet like a knife. Totally unexpected. It was pushing 8 p.m., and we weren't expecting company. I opened the door to a woman I'd never seen before. Maybe early 30s, standing stiff like she was holding herself together with duct tape, gripping her phone like it was her lifeline. She had that look. You know, when someone's rehearsed a speech 1,000 times in the car but still isn't ready to deliver it. "Are you Jacob Reed?" she asked, voice barely above a whisper, fragile as glass. "Yeah, that's me. Can I help you?" She glanced past me into the house, swallowed hard, then said, "I'm Amanda Hayes. My husband works with your wife." Her voice cracked on the word wife like saying it out loud hurt. "Come on in," I said, stepping aside. "Have a seat. What's going on?" She walked in like her knees might give out any second and held out her phone with a shaking hand. She told me she was carpooling home with Sarah tonight. My chest tightened instantly. She said she was running late because of work, but I checked our home security app. Ryan never even went into the office today. The words slammed into me so hard I felt them in my throat. She swiped to a photo. Dim car interior, evening light, a woman's silhouette with Sarah's exact shade of brown hair, and a man behind the wheel. My grip tightened on the edge of the counter until my knuckles went white, but somehow my voice stayed steady. "Sit down," I said quietly. "Tell me everything." She practically collapsed into a chair. I grabbed her a glass of water because it was the only normal thing I could think to do while my world cracked open. Amanda wiped her eyes. I think they've been seeing each other for months. I didn't know who else to tell, but you deserve to know. Months. Not a one-time slip-up. A deliberate, repeated choice. Something cold and clear washed over me. Not rage, not devastation, just razor-sharp focus. If Sarah and Ryan were together right now, it meant they valued their secret more than they feared destroying us. And that made payback feel like the most obvious next step in the world. I took a slow breath, my heartbeat actually slowing instead of racing. "Amanda," I said, pulling out the chair across from her and sitting down. "You did the right thing coming here tonight. And trust me, we're going to handle this in a way they'll never see coming." Her eyes lifted, a mix of confusion and fragile hope. "What are you going to do?" I glanced at the clock. "Almost time. When she walks through that door, you're going to be sitting right here next to me." Her brows knitted together. "Why?" I looked toward the front door and let go of the last shred of doubt I'd been clinging to. "Because if they've been treating us like idiots, then tonight, Amanda, we stop acting like idiots." Amanda sat at my dining table hunched over like she was trying to disappear into the wood, shoulders drawn in, knees locked together, fingers nervously circling the rim of her water glass. Every few seconds her eyes darted to the front door like she half expected her husband to burst in instead of my wife. I paced, but not out of anger. Anger is loud and messy. What I felt was quiet, icy, and laser-focused, the kind of feeling that turns pain into a plan. I checked the clock again. 8:27 p.m. If Sarah was really on her way home any minute now. "You're a lot calmer than I thought you'd be," Amanda said softly, watching me. "Most guys would be losing it right now." I gave a small shrug. Screaming doesn't undo what they've already done. But a solid plan can. She blinked, sitting up a little straighter at the word plan. "Tell me everything," I said, taking the seat across from her again and leaning in. "When did you first know something was off?" She pressed her lips together, thinking. "A few months ago he suddenly started working late. Hitting the gym after hours, always leaving his phone face down. I thought I was just being paranoid." She let out a shaky breath. "But paranoia doesn't come with perfect timestamps and location history." She slid a small stack of printed photos across the table. They weren't dramatic makeout shots, they were worse. Ordinary moments that proved everything. Ryan's truck parked outside a random cafe on a Tuesday morning when he swore he was at the office. A blurry shot of Sarah in the passenger seat, her hand reaching toward him. Them laughing together in a fast food drive-thru, way too comfortable, way too familiar. They weren't even touching in most of them, but emotional cheating doesn't need kiss-marked evidence. Just needs a pattern. "When did you confront him?" I asked. "Last week." Her voice cracked again. "He told me I was crazy, made me feel guilty for checking his stuff. I almost believed him." Tears welled up. I wish I hadn't tried so hard to believe him. I shook my head. "Don't beat yourself up. People who cheat study how to manipulate trust better than they ever studied loyalty." She swallowed. "What about you? Did you ever really suspect?" I paused. I kept telling myself it was just a rough patch, that marriages go through slumps, that we were both just busy. But deep down I knew. She pulled away months ago, always grabbing drinks with the girls, always stuck in another meeting. Every time I asked if she still loved me, she'd smile like the question didn't even make sense. Amanda wiped her eyes again. "I'm so sorry." "I'm sorry too. But that's exactly why we're not going to yell or beg when she walks in. We're going to lay the truth out so cleanly she can't wiggle out of it." A spark of steel replaced some of the sadness in her eyes. "Okay. What do you need me to do?" "Nothing dramatic. Just sit here with me, stay calm like we're two normal people having a conversation. I'll do the talking." I gently placed one of the photos in the center of the table. "And if she tries to deny it?" "She can't deny pictures," Amanda finished quietly. "Exactly." Before either of us could say more, headlights swept across the living room wall. Two quick flashes that made the whole room glow for a second. Amanda went rigid. "She's here," I whispered. I motioned for her to stay put, walked to the counter and grabbed my phone. Not for proof, just for timing. The front door unlocked. Sarah breezed in with her usual bright "Jake, honey, I'm home." Traffic was. The rest died in her throat the second she spotted Amanda. Her keys slipped from her hand and hit the floor with a loud clatter. Her mouth opened but no sound came out. Her gaze bounced from Amanda to me to the photos on the table. The silence wasn't awkward. It was final. I kept my voice perfectly even. "You're home early tonight." Sarah swallowed hard. "Why is she here?" Amanda stayed quiet, exactly like we planned, hurting but composed. I took one step closer. "She came by to talk. Something about your coworker, her husband. Ring any bells?" Sarah's eyes flicked helplessly to the photos like a magnet was pulling them. "I don't know what this is," she said too quickly. "This has to be some kind of mix-up." "A mix-up?" I echoed calmly. "Then I'm sure you can clear it right up for us." Her breath hitched. She pointed at one of the pictures with a shaking finger. That's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is," I said softly. "Be specific." She took a stumbling step forward, then back, then forward again. Like her body couldn't decide whether to bolt or brace for impact. "This is insane," she finally snapped, turning to Amanda. "If you have an issue with Ryan, take it up with him. Why drag my husband into this?" Amanda's voice came out steady and strong. "Because your husband deserves the truth, the one you've been hiding from him." Sarah froze. Real fear flashed in her eyes, the first honest emotion I'd seen from her in months. I stepped closer, locking eyes with her. "Where were you tonight, Sarah?" "I told you," she whispered. Running late at work. Running late with who? She couldn't answer. She couldn't even blink. And in that moment, she realized the lies weren't going to work anymore. I pulled out a chair, the legs scraping loudly across the floor. Sit down, I said quietly. We're not done. She hesitated, then sank into the chair like all the fight had drained out of her at once. What she didn't realize yet was that this conversation wasn't the revenge. It was only the opening act. Sarah sat there gripping the arms of the chair like it was the only thing keeping her on the planet. For the first time in forever, she wasn't hiding behind her phone or her excuses or those fake little smiles. She was completely exposed. Amanda stayed quiet beside me, chin high now, shoulders still tense but no longer crumbling. I took the seat across from Sarah and folded my hands calmly on the table. Let's start easy, I said gently. What was the name of the coworker you were with tonight? Her pulse hammered visibly in her neck. I said a coworker. I didn't think you needed a name. I do now. I leaned forward just a little. Say it. The room felt like it shrank around us. She hesitated way too long. Long enough for the truth to scream louder than any confession. Finally, barely audible. Ryan. Amanda closed her eyes, pain flashing across her face like lightning. Sarah saw it and guilt slammed into her so hard her shoulders curled forward. Amanda, I didn't know. Don't, Amanda cut in, calm but firm. Don't act like you didn't know exactly who he was married to. Sarah stared at her lap, ashamed. I picked up one of the photos. Is this you in his truck last Thursday? Her eyes filled with tears. Jake, please. Yes or no? Silence, then a tiny broken nod. I waited for excuses but none came. She was crumbling right in front of me. But I wasn't letting her disappear into self-pity. Pity lets people off the hook. I wanted her to feel the full weight of what she'd done. Sarah, I said, voice still level, how long? She opened her mouth, closed it, shook her head like the number itself hurt. I don't know. It wasn't supposed to turn into anything. We just talked at work, then after work, and I felt seen again. Amanda stiffened beside me. I repeated the word slowly. Seen. You stopped seeing me, Sarah whispered, tears spilling. You stopped trying. No, I cut in quietly. You stopped talking to me. You shut me out. So instead of fixing things here, you went looking for feelings somewhere else. Jake, I never meant to hurt you. You did, I said simply. But the real truth? You never meant to get caught. Her breath shook. She looked up at me with those pleading eyes that used to melt me. But tonight they just looked desperate. I want to fix us, she whispered. Amanda let out a soft, heartbroken scoff. I leaned back. If you wanted to fix us, you would have come to me months ago instead of building a whole secret life where I only existed when it was convenient. I know, she cried. I'm so sorry. Her apology bounced off me. It wasn't that she didn't mean it, it just didn't matter anymore. Consequences had finally shown up. I gathered the photos and set them down gently. You weren't late because of traffic tonight. You were with him. Her eyes dropped. It was a mistake. No, I said. A mistake is one bad decision. This was hundreds of little choices over and over. Amanda nodded sharply beside me. I looked Sarah dead in the eyes. You know what's worse than the cheating? She looked up, mascara streaking down her face. What? The fact that you let me spend months thinking something was wrong with me, while you were getting your emotional fixes somewhere else. Her face crumpled. Good. Truth is supposed to hurt. She reached for my hand across the table. I pulled back, not angry, just done. I still love you, she choked out. Love isn't a feeling, I said. It's a choice. And you stopped choosing me a long time ago. Amanda spoke up, voice steady. You should know. Ryan told me he always felt guilty lying to you because you spoke so highly of Jake all the time. Sarah went completely still. She didn't deny it. And that silence hurt worse than any of the photos, knowing she'd used my name in pillow talk with him while I stayed faithful. I stood slowly. This conversation wasn't about begging or fixing what's already shattered. She looked up, confused and terrified. Then what was it about? Closure, I said. And making sure you finally feel what you've been putting us through. Amanda glanced at me, trusting but curious. Sarah whispered. What happens now? I picked up my phone from the counter. You're going to pack a bag tonight. Her eyes went wide with panic. Jake, no. You're going to stay at your sister's for a few days. I need real space, not the fake version you created while you were sneaking around. She shot up, chair scraping. We can go to counseling, we can talk? We are talking, I said calmly. And for the first time in months, you're actually being honest. I'll do anything, she sobbed. Just don't make me leave. I shook my head. I'm not pushing you out. I'm giving you the distance you already chose. Amanda stood too, arms crossed, not gloating, just standing in her own strength. Sarah looked between us, finally realizing this wasn't just a fight. It was a turning point. Where am I even supposed to go? She asked through tears. Your sister's, I repeated. It's a lot kinder than the alternative. And what's the alternative? She challenged, voice shaking. I met her eyes, completely steady. You packing that bag tomorrow because a divorce lawyer told you to. Not because your husband asked for space. She froze. Really understood that I wasn't yelling, wasn't bluffing. I was finished being lied to. She nodded weakly, defeated, and headed toward the hallway. Amanda stayed quiet until Sarah disappeared into the bedroom. You okay? I asked her softly. She let out a long breath. I didn't think anyone could handle this with so much control. Control is all I've got left, I said. Sarah came back minutes later with a stuffed overnight bag, zipper straining, eyes swollen and red. I don't want to go, she whispered. This isn't forever, I said. It's consequences. You created this space when you kept choosing him and hiding it. I never chose him over you. Yes, you did, I said gently. Every time you picked up your phone instead of my hand. Every time you came home emptier. Every time you said, I'm fine when everything was falling apart. She had nothing left to say. The truth had finally landed. You still love me, she begged one last time. I know you do. I do, I admitted. But love isn't enough when trust is dead. That broke her. She stepped forward like she might hug me, then stopped herself. I can earn it back, she whispered. Just don't end us. I'm not ending anything tonight, I said. I'm setting boundaries. She glanced at Amanda again, then at the floor. Wherever I go, will you be okay? I'll be right here, I said. This is still my home. She nodded, turned, and walked to the door. Before opening it, she looked back. Are you going to see someone else? I almost laughed at the irony. You didn't care where I was for months. Funny you care now. She closed her eyes in shame, then stepped outside. The door clicked shut softly behind her. Amanda exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for years. That was intense. I finally sat down, the adrenaline crash hitting hard. Yeah. She slid the photos toward me. You should keep these. I pushed them back. No. You take them. They're part of your proof, your healing. Not mine. She looked surprised. Healing? I haven't even thought that far. You will, I said. We both will. She gave me a small, grateful smile. Nothing romantic, just two people who got blindsided by the same lie, and somehow found a little solidarity in the wreckage. She gathered her things and paused at the door. Jake, what now? I looked down the empty hallway Sarah had just walked. Now, I said quietly, I start building a life where someone's absence doesn't make me feel worthless. Amanda nodded, fresh tears in her eyes, not from heartbreak this time, but from something that looked a lot like hope. You're stronger than you know, she whispered. Then she left. The house felt different after the door closed. Quieter, cleaner, honest for the first time in months. And sometimes, no matter how brutal, honesty is the only real starting line for getting your life back.